Hi, my name is Jake. Today is the first day of the retreat here in Montenegro. I'm on my second day of dry fasting. I came here from the United States. I live in Austin, Texas, and I'm actually here just for personal experience and exploration. I don't have any serious health issue or ailment that's brought me here, but being here and having the support of the staff and the hosts here of the event is what's really given me a lot of confidence and encouragement to be able to do such an extended fast of being here and wanting to push for 11 days to not have food or not have water. And people would think, why would you ever want to do that? And again, it's for personal experience and for self-exploration to heal some things that I have inside that I believe a lot of this is going to do. And it's going to take me somewhere that is going to be difficult for me to be and withstand, but to go through that will give me a super newfound sense of just self and reflection and reverence and introspection. So for me, this is much more of a spiritual experience. But to hear the stories of people here, it's being around people that are completely committed, people that are like absolutely all in on doing whatever it takes to find something for themselves. That's what I really wanted to be around. To be around those kinds of individuals and that kind of collective energy is something that I want to like absolutely absorb and be able to transmute with and share with, draw from, and obviously contribute to myself. So if being different is making me an outlier of sorts, okay, but that's what I want to contribute. If I can be here and contribute energy to people that are here looking for energy, looking for something, then good, let me be a vessel of that. But at the same time, to be around people that are just absolutely all in on finding solutions is a really, really, really amazing place to be, because each individual is just holding nothing back and going for it. And I think it's a really rare kind of air to be around, and I feel very privileged to be here. And it's only day one, so who knows what's going to happen in 10 days from now. I'm Jake. I'm from Austin. I'm here on day 2 of the retreat and day 3 of my dry fast, and feeling pretty good right now. Feeling the effects of the lack of sleep for sure, but otherwise the support of everyone here and the treatments we're going through are really cool. It really breaks up the day and is a way to kind of shift your mind from hyper focusing on, lacks of water and food and the difficulties with sleep. So just having the support and encouragement of the hosts as well as the other participants is really making it a different experience. Shared my story of having done this on my own for 7 days at home in the city in an apartment. Is definitely not ideal. Being out here in nature, just like today we're out on the beach and having our feet in the sand and being grounded like that and hearing the splashing of the waves is a much more connected sense of just goodness overall, as opposed to feeling kind of isolated and displaced in the city. It's very unnatural. So I feel a lot better here. I feel more confident here. But even with all the knowledge and feeling of confidence, I know there's a lot of people that are scared, that are timid or reluctant to do this. They think it's crazy, they think it's stupid, but none of them have ever done it before. They've read a lot of books, they've heard a lot of things, but they've never tried themselves. And I think, all that information is great for you, but it's just making you a more informed quitter or someone that's not ready to do this. And I don't say that in a demeaning way. When you feel called to do this, you'll do it, because everyone here has been called to do it in one way or another. It's not necessarily like a serious choice, but more so like a feeling being drawn to this. For some people, it's the end of a rope, the last case scenario, the last option. And for other people, it's just you're feeling called to do it. And so everyone here would probably say that it wasn't the information that brought them here, but more so the feeling that got them here. And it's not information that makes you succeed here, because all the information goes out the window as soon as you start to feel the feelings. And you can have all the studies in the world, you can have all the science and all the backing to say like, oh, this is right or this is wrong, but once you're in it, it doesn't matter. It's just like Mike Tyson says, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face. This is just like that. We could have all the preparation we wanted and have read everything and went to all these seminars and heard all this stuff, and blah, blah, blah. But once you start, there's nothing but your own resolve, your intuition, and your desire. That's it, because you have nothing else. There's no outlet or escape of exercise or food or places and normal sources of dopamine that can help you feel better, But in here, it's just who are you stripped down with nothing. And that's the real challenge, and no amount of rhetoric or science or studies or information is going to help you with that. So if you want to just feel called to it, trust that feeling, because that feeling is going to be the understanding that you have here, and not, you know, something else that's fraudulent or substitute. But I can understand why it holds people back. Sure, I was afraid too, and I'm still afraid. But being here with a lot of other people that are also afraid is a great place to be, because that means that everyone here is obtaining courage. Because courage, the requirement to obtain courage is fear. So without fear, there is no courage. And there's a lot of people that are scared here, so there's a lot of courage too, which is kind of cool. So even though we're all afraid, we're all continuing to obtain courage each day that we continue on, each moment that we get through, each night of sleep that we don't have, each struggle that we all go through. It's fear, 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 but then there's courage, courage, courage. So there's a lot of great energy here. And if I was too critical or analytical, doubtful, or had too much paralysis analysis about the whole thing, I wouldn't be here. I would be stuck at home pointing a finger from 10,000 miles away saying that's wrong, or that you can't do that, or it's impossible. Well, I'm looking at 5 people here right now who have done this for more than 3 days, and everyone says 3 days is impossible for the human to do that. And I'm like, and I'm in a room with 5 of them right now. So it's kind of cool to be around that. And I'm in a room with people that have done more than 5 days, 7 days, 9 days. And here they are, 10 fingers, 10 toes, and they're still okay. You know, they're not insane, or maybe they're a little crazy, but if they're crazy, then that's good. I hope I'm crazy too. And if people think I've lost my mind, I'd say I hope so, because it feels pretty good to have lost it maybe. But being here is definitely a big benefit, and I would recommend this as the right environment to do that. Again, the climate is very good. We're surrounded by mountains. We're alongside the ocean. It's cool. The humidity is right, and all of those factors definitely play a big role. But you would never know unless you gave it a shot. So I certainly encourage people to do so. And if you haven't, if you're afraid, it's okay, because you're going to need the fear in order to succeed here. Day 3 of the retreat, day 4 of my 11-day dry fast. Feel okay. Would love some more sleep, but otherwise energy's a little down. I'd say, you know, my dryness in my mouth is present. The normal things are taking place at this point. You know, now is I'm in it now. You know, the first couple of days is almost argumentative and disbelief, denial, doubt, skepticism. Should I? Am I really going to? And now I'm like, okay, I'm really in it. And it makes me think about one of the points I really want to share is that, you know, there's always going to be this conversation going on in your mind with anything challenging. For me, it's very relatable to like racing, running, marathon, ultra marathon, triathlon. The entire time, my internal dialogue is, dude, just quit, stop. You owe these people nothing. You could fake an injury and nobody's going to know. Just stop. This is not fun. It's hard. Just stop. So for me, the whole time when I'm racing, and some of those are like 6 hours, 12 hours long, depending on the event, the hardest part is not the physical endurance. It's the voice in my head telling me to quit, saying to give in, to let go, to you owe no one nothing. It's okay. There's no shame. Like nobody's going to care. Like you can just walk away and leave. So the difficult part for me is always getting through that and tolerating or dealing with it, and just how I deal with it. And that's here too. You know, I think a lot of people have paralysis analysis about fasting because they're ignorant to what it's like, and they have these preconceived notions of what it's going to be like, what they're going to feel like, how strong they'll be, or I'd be different than that, or I would do this and that. You have no idea until you get here. You have no idea until you're there at that point and you're facing that type of adversity and that type of challenge, because you're not going to face it at full strength. You're going to face it at very low strength with not a lot of self-confidence and lots of doubt and lots of fear and worry, and just not having, all your weapons and comforts to be able to give you confidence. It's like someone saying, hey, let's go for a run tomorrow morning. All right, cool, let's do it. And it's perfect conditions tonight. We're all fat and happy on warm food and hot fire. And then tomorrow morning rolls around and it's 20 below and it's a blizzard outside. You're not going to be as confident anymore. You're going to say, I don't really know if I want to go. But the person that wants to go is going to say, well, I better put my gloves on and my beanie to be able to handle it. It's the same thing here. Most people, for the first few days of the fast, certainly for me, it has nothing to do with the physical aspect. It's completely in my head. We have so much to go through, mental barriers and obstacles and hurdles to get through before the physical aspects even start to hit, is the mental hurdles you have to get through. Because none of us are going to die here. Let's make that very clear. Nobody's going to die. And if that's a constant that's on the board, like that means everything else that's happening, as difficult as it is, okay, it's hard, no doubt, but nobody's going to die. So that means so much of what we have to deal with is the mental struggle of enduring the experience and pushing away the voices of just quit. It's okay. You can stop at any time. No one's making you do this. You're volunteering. You're fucking stupid. You're stupid. Don't do it. That has nothing to do with the physical aspect. You're not going to die. So before you even have to bear the difficulty of the physical elements, this paradigm shift has to occur where at the beginning it's 99% the mind, because the physical parts have not even started to take place yet in the beginning. It's boredom at the top. It's worry, it's anxiety. The physical parts haven't even taken place yet. You're not dehydrated. Your body hasn't started to go into these process of self-cleansing and autophagy and autolysis and every other physiological gain that's going to take place. It hasn't even started yet. It's boredom. That's the first one. Oh my God, what do I do? Situational anxiety because I'm not being able to escape with an activity or a device or something else that I would normally have. It's all mental. And it takes time for that pendulum to shift to where the physical does start to have a role in the game. But it's not right away. So the first day, maybe a couple of days, 3 maybe more days, the physical starts to come up. The physical difficulties start to arise, lower energy, dryness in the mouth, fatigue, physical fatigue. But the mental aspect is still always going to be very, very, very high, and the difficulty of dealing with it mentally is very, very, very high. So for me, I'm curious to find out if, because I don't know if it'll even happen, will my physical difficulty surpass my mental difficulty? I don't know. I feel like that's got to be a very critical place where you're like really in the red zone and you know you're in a bad spot and you don't have much longer to be able to withstand it, where the mental aspect totally dissolves and it's all physical survivability, sense of like having to, be homeostatic. That's what I'm waiting for. Because right now I'm still 99% mental. Yes, I'm tired. Yes, my mouth is dry. Yes, everything physical is going on, but it's still, dude, just quit. You have nothing to prove. You have no reason you need to do this. Like, you can stop at any time. All those voices are still there. I've done this like with food. I was telling a friend of mine here that I met about a food challenge I did last year where I was trying to eat sardines, just sardines for 30 days. And I made it like 3 days into it of eating only sardines. And I hate sardines. And I did this because I hated them and I've been afraid of them since I was a child. And I was like, I need to get through this. This is a stupid mental, emotional barrier that I want to try to conquer. So 3 days into it, or maybe it was the 4th day, I just couldn't eat anymore. And I was like, oh, I just can't bear it. I'll start fasting. So I started fasting. And I said, I'm not going to eat them again until I am sardine hungry. So one day goes by and I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely not sardine hungry still. 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. I got to the 5th day and I was like, and I'm really hungry, but I'm nowhere near sardine hungry. And I broke and started eating other things, but I kept sardines in the meal and just essentially had sardines for 30 days. But nonetheless, I never got to sardine starving. I don't know if I'm ever going to get, or where that total transition is going to occur, where it's totally about the physical difficulty as opposed to my mind trying to sabotage the experience. But we'll see. I know that I'm around the right people because nobody here is just a loose-lipped jabberjaw or a talker. All these people here are doers. They've all said they were going to commit to something, they were going to go somewhere, and they were going to endure the experience that came with it. Irrespective of comfort, irrespective of the difficulty that comes with that, irrespective of the fear that they have to face and walk through, every one of them said to themselves some of them only to themselves, because if they told their family or their friends, they would get laughed at, or no, 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 don't do that, it's dangerous. Or they say they're on a yoga retreat because they don't want people to know that they're actually doing this. I said that too to some people. But everyone here is an actionably oriented person that can be held to their word. People of action, people of merit, right? That have proof behind what they say, testament to what they say. There's value to their words. There's a lot of people out there that are not like that. I would say the majority of people out there are not like that. And that's not a slight to humanity, but take an audit of yourself. You know, who are you without being able to be held to the value of your word? What are your principles? You know, what type of character traits do you have, and are you able to maintain them amidst adversity, or you just say things and then let loose the action that doesn't take place thereafter? But everyone here is someone that's committed themselves verbally, and they're embodying that commitment by being here physically. And to me, how could I let these negative thoughts take me over if I'm surrounded by all these people that are, you know, fully committed themselves by way of physically being here to do it with me? So I don't know. 11 days is the goal, but again, my battle now is just dealing with the nonverbal dialogue of self-talk and negativity. But at the same time, that doesn't come unless I'm somewhere very uncomfortable. It does not come unless I'm doing something that I know is good for me, like competition in races or a long dry fast like this. It doesn't happen when I'm just chilling and having a great day. I'm having a great day when that's happening, but when I'm being challenged and I'm leaning into that fear, the voices are there. So because the voices are there, I know I'm in a good spot. Because I'm surrounded by people that are doers and not talkers, I know I'm in a really good spot. So we'll see. I'll see you tomorrow. Today is day 4 of our retreat here in Montenegro. It's day 5 for me of my dry fast. And I had some really interesting thoughts this morning when I was on a walk. It was just sunrise. It's a nice day. The clouds were finally clear. The sea was really calm, so it was quiet and just really pretty. And during that walk, I had some really, really funny thoughts. Like, I've always had these recurring voices and internal dialogue of doubt and you know, the whispers in my head telling me to quit to do something, like in a competition or in a race, or just whenever I'm really going through something tough that's my choice to do and it's voluntarily being done. There's always the voice saying, just stop. You don't have to do this. You can quit at any time. And this morning I was overlooking the sea that we are on the beach, and it was a beautiful view. And below where I was standing on this kind of plateau over the water, there's a bunch of rocks. I could see into the water and see the waves kind of lapping into the rocks, and it's really serene. But in my mind, I'm like, you know, I could probably climb down there and slip on the rocks and fall into the water, and it wouldn't be my fault because I slipped and it was an accident, and I'd be okay. And that would make me wet, and I would be forced to have to exit, but it wouldn't be my fault, and it wasn't on purpose, but it was just like circumstantial. That literally went through my head like as visceral as I'm describing it. Like, I saw it step by step. I was like, okay, step on this rock, slip down, whoop, fall in the water. Oh well, I'm in the water. I tried, but you know, I couldn't help it, guys. I had an accident and I fell in the water. And I could lie to everybody, and I could come back and say that, and everybody would believe me, and I could sell it really well, and maybe they wouldn't believe me, and I would say, whatever, I don't have to see these people again. I can just go home. I can leave early. I owe no one nothing. Literally, that was how my day started. So the internal dialogue that you go through when you put yourself through something like this, you really can't understand it until you're in it. You know, having like a preconceived notion or assumption of how you'll perform or how you would be, like people talking about how they would respond in an emergency. My friend was held up by gunpoint the other day and she almost fainted, but luckily she just, you know, kept herself together. Or my friend acted like this and he was I would have shot the guy and I would have taken the gun away from him. You have no idea how you would respond. No idea. For most people in a situation like that, you're lucky if you don't faint and pass out or pee on yourself, literally. Like, you're lucky if you just don't do that. So to be able to interject like how you would be is ridiculous. And so someone saying now with a full belly in a warm place wherever you are with comfort and thinking like, oh, I would never be like that. I would never think like that. I think like that. I think like that all the time. Whenever I'm doing stuff that's tough, it's always the voice saying to quit or to stop or that I don't have to. But it's just really funny how exacerbated that gets here, even amidst all the support and comfort and you know, the team and the hosts and the other participants that are here. It's still like, it's a very individual sport, this. So even though we have all these kind of things throughout the day where we have treatments and massage and bits of learning and Q&A and sharing circles and yoga, and it's all good and great. But when you leave and you're on your own, like you're on your own and left with your thoughts, and whether those are going to be good or bad. And you know, when people, myself included, when someone would say to me something like that, or years ago, a friend of mine having suicidal ideation, talking about things, and the first thing I said, I was like, man, don't think like that. And he says, don't tell me not to think like that. I'm telling you I'm thinking like that. Let's find a solution how to deal with it, but don't tell me not to think like that. And I was like, okay, that's a fair point. I don't think I can't not have these thoughts. They're gonna come. I'm human. I breathe, bleed, cry. We all do the same. But how you respond to them, or how you choose to respond to them, I think is the determinant factor of your resolve, your will, your wherewithal, and just you know, your character. So without those kind of challenges, even amidst the challenge, I don't know. Maybe it's a good thing. You know, maybe it's like breaking up my boredom, and having a little bit of extra anxiety and what's the word I'm trying to look for? Obtaining resilience and having to go through some additional challenge. Even within myself, though I'm trying to do something for my better, I'm still being challenged by my own weaknesses or my own, you know, old memories or issues of past trauma, maybe things that I've gone through as a child or something that was passed down to me generationally, but something that's left a mark on me that's made me feel inadequate or wanting to leave before the finish line is met, so I'm able to flee the scene before having to see how things turn out, and it's my way of self-preservation. But yeah, this morning was really cool because, again, it was so pretty and nice, and just finally the rain clouds have gone away and the rain has stopped and the sun is out today and the water was really calm. There's no more waves, no more wind. Perfect day. And there I am alone thinking about how I can sabotage myself to fail. So even during good things and fun things and with all the resources and infrastructure in the world, you know, I kind of talked about that yesterday with quitting. You can be the most prepared and the most knowledgeable and have the best gear and all the right clothes and all of these other material things, but like, you're still going to face these unknown circumstances and have to deal with them and be challenged and find out who you are and what you're made of amidst those challenges. And today I definitely got hit with one, but it was very funny because I was able to identify it as it was going on, and it was like a very real conversation happening in my mind, and I was like, wow, you really want to do that, huh? You could totally do that. I could have totally done it for sure. But who would I be had I? So cool, unexpected, but we'll see what happens tomorrow. Today is day number 5 of the retreat, day number 6 of my dry fast, and this morning brought a really interesting scenario to me by way of past memories. So in a previous life, I used to stay up really late at night with the assistance of things, and after, you know, several days of staying up like that and trying to go to sleep, I would always turn into the fetal position and a lot of times on my left side. And laying on the bed on the left side, my heart would be pounding really fast because I was awake because of the assistance I was taking to stay awake. And I couldn't go to sleep. And I would be trying to go to sleep as the sun was coming up and the blue light of the sunlight was coming into my windows, and I could hear the birds very, very loudly, and my heartbeat, and my teeth are chattering, and loud birds, light coming in. It's just not an indicative way to try to go to sleep. It's horribly uncomfortable and still traumatizing to me to this day. But I haven't really thought about that because it's been years since I've been in that situation until this morning. This morning, because of the insomnia, I was back in that situation. The sun was coming up, the blue light from the sky, the birds were so loud, the frogs are so loud, the dogs are so loud, my hearing is very acute. So I could hear all of that like really intensely. And I was laying on my side in the fetal position, and I could feel my heartbeat. It certainly wasn't jackhammering like in the past, but just boom, boom, boom. Slow and steady, but nonetheless I could feel it. And just all these elements, this discomfort, again, the insomnia, the dryness of the mouth, it was like the same checklist of things that I used to feel and go through back then that I swore and prayed that I would never have to deal with again. And I was right back there this morning, and it sucked. It totally blindsided me, did not see that coming, did not expect that, did not think about that. And when it was happening, I was begging, like talking out loud. I was like, please God, make this stop. Please God, make this stop. And when it was coming on, I was like, oh no, 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 no. Because I'm alone. There's nothing I can do. I can't say that to someone to make them really understand in that moment. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. But that really, really shook me. And that's how my day started. So how do you have motivation after that to continue? Because, man, right away I was like, I don't want to go through that again tomorrow, which I probably will. But, I think people that have a very singular focus and reason to be here is a very strong motivation, definitely. But even still, it's not strong enough for some. Some leave, some exit early. Some people say that it's better to deal with that than to have to face this. And I get it, man, because I don't want to face this either. It sucks. There's nothing you can do but bear it. There's no escape. It's just having to sit here and tolerate your thoughts and all of the doubt and negative self-talk that's going on, just whispering to you like you have nothing to prove. You can leave at any time. You came here in your own free will. You paid money to be here. What an idiot. And yeah, my motivation is something I probably honestly don't think I can answer in a sentence or just with a amount of words, because it's more for me an intuition. Like something called me to start doing this several years ago in small amounts. Something called me to do my first extended dry fast last year. I didn't have it planned. I wasn't like, okay, 1 year from now I'm going to do this, 3 years from now, 5-year plan, whatever. It wasn't like that. I've gone through these evolutions in life or self-enlightenment or personal growth and development by way of removing blocks and obstacles in my life that no longer serve me. So that's why I stopped doing those things of the past that I was talking about at the beginning, because they weren't helping me feel good. And so as each phase of growth happens, as each change occurs and I start to feel better and think more clearly, intuition opens up. And so like when we have that phrase of saying, just trust your gut, trust your gut. I wouldn't trust most people's guts. I would tell most people not to trust their guts because their guts are not trustworthy. But the more you start removing things from yourself, as far as in things that don't serve your body well or your mind, or that hinder you from actually performing well as a human being, you can start trusting your gut. And my gut has gotten me to some pretty great places over the last few years. And the steps that got me to here were all because of that. I was not the most educated in the subject or the field. I hadn't read all the books. I didn't know all the tricks. I didn't do everything right beforehand to prepare, but something was telling me, like, you need to go do this. And then today, there was a discussion during our treatments about some past issues that I've had, and things about certain organs of mine and operating systems of my body that clearly were responding adversely based on these deficiencies. And I was like, wow, maybe that's my body all this time, these 20 years, for some of these things that I've had going on, trying to tell me, like, come on, we're trying to will you there, but I couldn't hear it with all that other noise in the past. And the more I've lessened that, now it's a more and more clear signal and communication. So I think my motivation is intuition. I don't have a specific reason. Maybe I wish I did, but I don't. But I can say something brought me here, and it's keeping me here. As much as I want to give in, yeah, sure. If anybody says they don't, they're lying, because we all do. But each of us has our own reasons to stay and go on. And seeing everyone else endure that and continue to do that is really motivating to me. So whether my motivation is just intuition, maybe my motivation now is to not want to fall behind everyone else and to stay in that headspace that's really, really powerful and inspiring. So we'll see what tomorrow brings. Hopefully it's not like this morning, but if it is, at least I'll be prepared for it. Today is day 6 of the retreat and day 7 of my fast, and I had another sabotage conundrum this morning. I'm on the 3rd floor of the hotel and looking, having to walk down and up the stairs every day, and I was walking down the stairs and I was like, man, I could just fall down the stairs and maybe not break something, hopefully, but like hurt myself enough or fake an injury enough to where they would come get me and see me and they'd be like, oh yeah, he needs to exit, he's hurt. And I'd be like, yes. And then it wouldn't be my fault. That's how my morning started. Mind is a funny thing, like no matter how bad you think you want something or you want to achieve something or go through something, like once you're in it, like it's going to make you question a lot of that. And now I definitely am. Like today's been a hard day for me. It continues to be hard. The sleep is just non-existent. There's a lot of noise from construction going on around. There's lots of wind and it's really, really loud. It feels good because it's a good breeze and it's cool, but there's just, besides the difficulties of the biochemical and physiological and hormonal disruptions that are going on right now and elevated levels of certain things, like that's hard enough under, I don't know, quiet circumstances, but here even though this is a perfectly good place in the sense of control, we have this beautiful hotel along the beach and the mountainside, sitting on the sea. There's no one else here. Like it's the most perfect ideal incubator to do this. Where we all come from in other places, most people, they deal with a lot of variables and uncertainties and inconsistencies with things you have to deal with, but this is like a perfect incubator and it's still really hard. It's making me like really question it and not want to do it. Today is just, it's not fun. I'm getting a little bit of nausea. I had a good bit of like a hot flash last night. Like my skin was really, really hot, but I wasn't sweating. But when I touched my skin, it felt like it was like sunburned. And I got undressed and got out of the sheets and like had the wind on me and everything, but I just couldn't sleep. It was so loud. So there's like this big mix of trying to be comfortable but can't get comfortable, and I'm super uncomfortable, and then all these noises are going on, and then voices in my head of wanting to quit, not wanting to go on. So it's like it's a real like mine of emotions and internal dialogue and self-sabotage and trying to hold on to this like little inkling of purpose. It's like so small, but it weighs and means a lot. The bigger picture is the distraction. The bigger voice is the temptation. The bigger voice is honestly, for me, is the negativity. But the small, like, voice of, like, go on, it's really strong. It's just really tiny. So it's hard to discern that sometimes because the other ones are really, really loud. And today is definitely that day for me where I'm already, I can't think about Sunday. Like, that might as well be a year from now to me. I have to think about like 5 minutes from now and getting to dark and then getting to sunrise. Like, so I have these tiny little signposts in my head of like, just get to that one, just get to that one. Cause I literally can't think about, if I think about Sunday, that's impossible. So focusing on the steps, looking at these little signposts to kind of keep me going through things, and just really just trying to hold on to the why, my why, as best I can amidst all the other chaos that's going on. Today is day number 7 of the retreat and day number 8 for me of my dry fast. I've got just about 84 hours to go. So it's not a whole lot. You know, I'm less than 100, and that to me is kind of like a good metric of signposts, like in a race. You know, if I think about at the beginning of this, it's like 248 or 200 something, I forget how many hours, 260 something hours. That's brutal to think about. But day at a time, 12 hours here, 24 hours there, and adding them up, those are like my way of counting the miles, like in a race. And now I'm at, you know, past 170 and approaching 200, and it's less than 84. I'm like, okay, that seems a lot more manageable. But yesterday, I was ready to quit. I was like really struggling. Right around this time yesterday, my energy was just shot. My desire was really like feathering on wanting to go on. I was just, why am I doing this? I don't need this. I don't need to be here. I chose to be here. I can choose to not be here. I've done enough. That was just like kind of the recurring thoughts in my head. And I got back to my room after a walk, and I literally just begged. I was like, God, please, or prayed. I was like, God, please, just let me get some sleep, because I hadn't slept in the last few days almost at all. I said, please just let me get some sleep. And like, I'll promise I'll make it to use. And I went to sleep at around like 1800 last night and woke up at like 20:30, 20:45. And I was like, man, I'm back. I felt like completely rejuvenated. I texted Svetlana and I was like, I feel like I'm on day 1 again. Like, I don't know what happened. And she asked me, did you drink water? And I said, no. I said, no. But I literally felt like that transformed and re-energized from that little amount of sleep. So when you're that sleep, or this sleep deprived and this run down, these little doses of are like life-changing. And it reminds me of free diving. When you descend in the water, the mask compresses from the volume within the mask and the pressure of descent. Well, the oxygen, or the air that you've, not oxygen, but air that you've breathed and had in that mask is still in there, descending, descending, descending. Well, when you ascend inside the nasal part of the mask, as the mask expands from the air, the air is still there. Now that the air is expanding, you can actually take these little hits of it as you're going up. So you're ascending, you're ascending, you're ascending, and you're thinking, oh my God, there's still like 10, 15 meters above me. I can't get there. But like as you ascend and the mask expands, you get, and it's like 2 more meters, 2 more meters, 1 more meter, surface. And they're like these little just pockets that keep you going. But at the bottom, you can't think about that. So I'm just finding these little pockets of like pick-me-ups to keep going, because I can't think about Sunday. I want to think about Sunday, but it's completely in my head now. And I have the physical ability to do it. I know that, and it's just absolutely in my mind. And that's a hard thing to weigh. Because if I had a physical issue holding me back, like if I started having palpitations or elevated heart rate or I fainted or something, I'd be like, oh, okay, I can blame it on that. But 10 fingers, 10 toes, 2 eyes, and can hear and walk upright pretty well. So it's like I can't blame it on my inability physically. So it's literally just in my head. So tonight I'm going to sleep on the beach in the sand, in those stones rather, and try to just be totally immersed in the ground and let it just hopefully charge me with some minerals and ions, and get some of that moonlight and listen to the ocean and the waves crash. Because if that's not a way to freaking try to put some kind of energy into my body from the ground and literally do some grounding, I don't know what is. So that's my plan for tonight. I'm very happy about it, and I hope that it works out well. So we'll see you in the morning for day number 9. Today is day number 8 of the retreat and day number 1 of my exit from dry fast. I finished last night at 7.5 days of total dry fasting, and was going to go for longer. I intended to go for longer, but I was really struggling. I'd been struggling for the past couple of days and had some peaks and valleys of feeling better and then feeling worse and feeling better and feeling worse. And last night was just really, really tough for me mentally. Physically, I felt great. Had strength, had energy to move around and do things, but my mind was just imploding on itself over and over. And you'll hear other people kind of talk about just the boredom and the inability to think or focus on anything else other than the kind of pain and difficulty that you're going through. It makes it impossible. You know, we all brought books and other things to kind of keep ourselves busy with, or try to keep ourselves busy with during these fasts, but eventually they just become, I don't want to say impossible, but extremely challenging to even put your mind into, whether it's a book to read or a crossword puzzle or to try to distract yourself with a program on the laptop. It's just so hard to think about anything else when your mind is just caving in on itself because you're so thirsty, you're exhausted because you haven't slept in a week, literally, and all these seemingly, forces that are working against you, but it's just what's the natural occurrence of things taking place during a fast. It just feels insurmountable, and for me, it was really tough last night. And I just decided, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to go through another night of this. I don't want to try to will myself to bed and wake up and then have to do it all over again for another day. But no regrets. I had set a number of days that I'd like to have completed, but I certainly feel satisfied with my effort. It's a day longer than I'd ever done before on my own. So that to me is a great achievement, and to have been able to witness other people going through such extremes and pushing themselves past not only their perceived limitations but mine, to see people exceed what I had done and to see what kind of determination they have to be able to get there, and to think like, God, this isn't a rumor or like a story of like, hey, have you heard about these people from over there? And it's just by way of mouth. It's like, I got to see it in person. I got to watch someone go from this phase. I got to watch her do this and like deal with that, and to see the struggles that people are able to endure in order to achieve things they know that they need. It was really, really amazing. And it's something that I didn't really think would be a takeaway for me, but it's probably the biggest takeaway, because this is very rare air. By way of all the people that are here are very intentional for their reasons to be here. No one is here by accident. No one is here like, oh, I had nothing else to do this weekend, so I just kind of fell over into this retreat. Everyone here is extremely focused and has a very specific reason for being here, and that drive and motivation is infectious. It's very recognizable, and it's very attractive, because it's admirable, to see people that are able to just do things that other people think is impossible, literally, and to be around a bunch of 30 of them, to be surrounded by, let alone one person who does something that is supposed to be impossible, let alone 30 that are just one after another achieving the impossible is really, really cool. And it's, like I said, the main takeaway so far for me is just, not necessarily what I got out of it, but hopefully what I was able to contribute to the collective instead, and then being able to take all that home and say, wow, like, these are not miracles, this is real, and it's just a glimpse of what people are truly capable of. And for that, I'm very grateful and humbled, and looking forward to the next one. Not today, not tomorrow, but that's definitely my first takeaway, is this is only the beginning still, and there's so much more still to explore. So today is day number 9 of the retreat and day 3 of exit, and I'm feeling a lot better, hydrated. I've gotten some fruit in, some oatmeal, some millet, some fish soup with vegetables, and a couple of other things like some really nice honey, royal jelly honey, even honey with pollen, little by little, but certainly coming back to life. I slept for like 9 hours last night. It was amazing. I actually skipped dinner because I just passed out in a coma, but totally felt my body just surrender to the need of sleep, and it was really deep and really comfortable and almost pretty much uninterrupted for 9 hours, which I don't know when the last time I got that kind of sleep was, so it was really, really nice and felt very needed. So I don't know if it was just being tired from the week and the exhaustion from the week from the fast, or if it was a lot of other things on top of that and catching up on a lot of much needed sleep and rest from previous time too. So I think it was a combination of the two of them. But there's more that goes on here than just fasting. You know, there's a lot of work and conversation and interaction that we do amongst each other, and there's work done upon us by the team, you know, by way of treatments and certain kinds of massages and extractions, I guess would be the word to use, where there are these small little things called leeches that provide an amazing medicinal benefit to the human body, because they're able to kind of attach onto certain parts of you and implant their own saliva into you, which is an anticoagulant, and it makes you bleed, so it's kind of filtering out impurities from your body in a very natural way. It's old school, but here we are doing a lot of old school things, so it kind of makes sense. But funnily enough, they talk about a few different places on the body to place leeches, which number one is weird to me, because I've gone pretty much my whole life by avoiding leeches, and yet here I am voluntarily putting them on me. And there was talking about placing them on various organs along the sternum and the stomach and some other parts of the body, and one part in particular in the perineum. So the perineum, for anyone that does not know, especially in a man, is between the one part and the other part in the bottom. And it was sold or pitched very well in the sense of like, when would you ever do this again? I said, okay, that's true. It's very good for you. It's very good for your prostate. It's very good for this. And so I was like, okay. When else would you have the opportunity to do this? Okay. So I'm sitting here in a diaper because I have blood passing out of me still, and I need to be able to absorb that so I don't bleed all over this chair and everything else, because I had leeches on my perineum like an hour ago. So I never thought I'd say that. Never expected to say that. It's not what I expected to get out of this, but it's a fun kind of cherry on top for the last day sign-off statement to say that how grateful I am to have come here, to be here, to have met everyone, and to have been able to be a part of this, experience it, share with other people's experiences, and have a little bit of a smile of my own at the end. So I guess it's my way of having a little fun before we say goodbye for good. So thanks to everyone here. Thank you to the team so very much, to Dr. Filonov, to Svetlana in particular, and the rest of, you know, the cohort that was all giving and sharing and transmuting energy to hope and help each of us succeed. And it's been an amazing experience. I can't wait to share it with other people and convince them or encourage them to come here and find out for themselves.